stories for each other.
Have you ever watched the ones where the voice is really weird?
Yes,
that guy?
yeah. That's the one. Those are the ones. Yeah.
Okay. So
Top four spooky
I
stories.
do like the Reddit one. Dude, Reddit, I've been getting more into Reddit lately.
It's great.
It's great.
It's actually really bad.
It's really good. You can find anything. Sometimes it's so wild, dude. Reddit, it has a plethora of like things you can jerk off to. Like,
yeah, that's what Reddit is.
Like a lot. Like,
you're
obviously,
just discovering it.
No. I'm not even talking about like porn. I'm talking about like people who like write stories out.
You're jacking off to literature?
I'm not.
Yeah, you are, dude. No.
You are. I'll tell you exactly what the rabbit hole I went down, okay?
You went, by the way, you guys know?
I love when you're in a deep enough rabbit hole where you end up on something that is like not doing it, and then you're just laying there and your dick is now soft but still out, and you're like reading something, you're like, this is crazy. So there was one specific video I used to jerk off to, and
Old reliable.
I was trying to find it. It wasn't. And it was this girl that I really like, and the guy like can't last. Like he keeps it's like hilarious, but it was also like I really liked her. So I was looking for that.
Let's dive into it after.
We can dive into it.
We will dive into it after.
We can psychoanalyze my
Yeah.
And then so now I'm on like a premature ejaculation Reddit, and then I click another thing, and it takes me to it's a thread of people's stories about them having that experience. And then I'm just reading these like sad stories about like finally got the opportunity with a girl I've been trying to the rest like for my whole life. And then like there was one story about a guy, his crush like all throughout school. And then they ended up like they reconnected later in life in like his late 20s, and everything was happening, and they were on the couch fooling around, and then he like nutted in his pants, and he got so embarrassed that he like stopped her. She didn't know, and then he just left, and she felt so rejected by it that they never got together ever again, and he like blew his chance and his load, and it was like hilarious. But then there's like comments. The comments is where the gold is.
Oh yeah.
The comments is people being like, I'm sorry for your loss, but that's a really hot story. I wish I could blow my load that quick. Like, it's like, and what I imagine ends up happening is like guys jerk off to these stories that other guys write. And it's just like this weird kind of accidentally gay community of guys jerking off to other guys' stories. And I was just like thinking about it so much. And I was just like reading these stories that it just became a completely different non-sexual thing for me to enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like a humiliation. It's the same reason that people like to get their pee-pees called small and like balls stepped on.
Yeah, or like get cucked.
Or get cucked. Yeah, getting cucked is wild.
Cooked.
Well, I think that now that I'm thinking about this, I actually think it's probably girls will think that like men watching porn is like bad. I mean, porn is bad for you, but I think that there's like a disconnect. Nah. You don't think porn is bad for you?
No, I think it can be.
Yeah,
for
I think
sure.
it can be. Yeah. But there's a level of disconnect where you go like, well, yeah, you're never gonna actually like, you don't feel any emotion towards this person. You feel it. You look at them and you go, they're physically attractive. They're doing a thing that I'm into sexually. I'm gonna come to this, right? Ladies will read books. That's worse.
Yes.
If you're a lady and you're fucking reading that thorn book, The Garden of Thorns, and I know that a rose bush of thorns. What is it? A thorn book?
I don't know.
My lady has been on this kick of like fairy porn books where it's like fairy porn.
I don't want to go too much because I know Ariel personally.
Yes.
Is it crossing over into your life though? Like,
no,
is she hornier?
No,
like what are they reading it for?
It's just she's just reading it and she's just like, this book is getting naughty.
And I'm
like, there's no benefit. I
was at a girl's apartment like kind of recently, and she had a shelf like I do, like this like floating shelf full of books. And I was like, so be honest, how many of those have you read? She's like, all of them. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, they looked like encyclopedias. And I was like, no, you didn't. She was like, those are all smut. I've read every single one of those.
Yeah.
She was like, it's literally I'm just reading porn.
Yeah. And that's worse for you because they like the character. They're falling in love with the character.
Do you think it's worse, or do you think it's just lady brain? They have to be, you know what? Like, cause I do think that's a thing that separates men and women often. not always, but like pretty to overgeneralize, I think it does, where women do often want the emotional attachment to enjoy the sexual part like fully. And in porn, there's no emotion.
No.
They try to manufacture it briefly in some porn, but like for the most part, it's just like, it's not that.
No, it's very much like, oh no, I'm failing your class. Don't give me a D.
Yeah.
And then
I'll give you a D.
I'll give you
my
a D.
D. I'll give you an A.
My
D and your A or whatever.
Yeah. And, my D and your A is crazy.
Yeah.
I know some guys that we can send that bit to.
Yeah.
And then, but no, we should fucking that. No, it is. I
so
think,
they need the emotional. They need to read the backstory of a character to become emotionally developed, so that when they read the chapter that is the sexual experience, they can go, "I want this to happen." They go, I will say, I used to jerk off to books in rehab.
That's down bad.
That's down bad.
Yeah.
There, I read a trilogy of books.
A series of unfortunate events. You're jacking off to the Jim Carrey, the movie edition.
There was a trilogy of books about a DEA agent, and randomly in a couple of them there are like sex scenes, and I was so down. But it's amazing how quickly, I was only in rehab for 60 days. It's amazing how quickly your brain goes anything at all. The nurses who like objectively are not attractive become the hottest women in the world. You're reading like 2 paragraphs of like a mild sex scene in a book that's not even close to being about sex at all, and it's like you're like rock hard. It's crazy. Like,
well, what's funny to me about like reading, if you're reading like smut or reading like anything for like a sexual release, if you're reading it with the point of masturbation, it's just funny to be like reading and then being like,
having to
flip your finger.
To turn the page,
and then maybe it's like you fold it. You have to fold it because you have to go get your tissue. So you put like a little fold in the.
You have a little bookmark with the tassel on top.
To make sure you don't remember, because you're like, oh fuck, I didn't get I need to come on something, and then you go, okay.
I wonder if like when you're like, if you're watching porn and there's a part you really like you're like, I'm gonna rewind and watch that again.
Reread.
You flip the page back. You're like, I want to read that.
Well, because
again. I think I picked the theory up while listening to that. Do you think then, if you were somebody who read a lot of smut, that you could then end up being better at actual sex?
Probably. I think you can also be I think you can also develop fetishes quicker through it. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Same with porn though. Just in general.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I've
been on a big milk diet. I've been drinking a lot of milk lately.
Really?
I'm doing milk. I'm
Are
doing
you 2%
oatmeal.
or whole?
I'm doing 2%. I'm doing whole oats. I'm on a whole oat diet. So what I'm doing is I'm taking oats, throwing them in a bowl, pouring milk on said bowl, throwing peanut butter in there, throwing maple syrup on top of it and cinnamon, and I'm housing it, dude. I'm gonna get fucking jacked. I had this thought. I've been watching prison workout videos. I had this thought where I go, I'm gonna be a warrior. That's what I keep telling myself, and I go, I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm going to.
It's so funny, like,
and then I just do, and then I go in.
I just don't have that in me.
And then I go to LA
guy.
Fitness.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's really funny.
I go to LA Fitness
because
fitness dick in your
you're
butt.
also a comic.
I know.
So it's funny to
I
be
agree.
like, I'm gonna be the silliest warrior there is.
It's funny because I keep telling myself, I watched a movie. I just watched. Why I say warrior is because I watched. What's that movie? Shot Collar. With Jaime Lannister from the Game of Thrones, if you know what I'm talking about, and Jon Bernthal's in it. And they go to prison. He goes to prison, and they go, "This is a place of warriors." And I want to be a warrior.
I want to be a warrior.
Oh, I want to be a warrior, dude. I want to be a fucking warrior. I want to fucking do burpees in my backyard, dude. Burpees. I've been periodically doing burpees. I've been doing push-ups,
like in the house.
Yeah, in the house, because
Love
I very publicly said on our podcast previously, I think I could do 100 push-ups without stopping. I was wrong.
Yeah,
100 push-ups is hard. Yeah. I got to like 55 and I was like, oh, I couldn't do a single one after that. If my life depended on it. 55, I was like, I had a thing in my head where I went, you said it, so you have to do it as much as you can. And I got to the point where I was shaking single arm out, shaking arm out, one. And I was like, and it got to 55
Dude,
and I
I
couldn't do
watched
anymore.
my dad when I was younger do 100 push-ups. And like, that's like crazy. My dad is never, in the time that I've known him, been like a guy that looks fit.
It's construction strength.
He really does have like General Motors, like plant construction strength.
Yeah.
like oil field
Same
strength.
with that's what happens when you do those jobs. My dad picked up we had a weight set in our basement, and my dad was moving it one time. We moved it from the basement to the garage, and my dad picked up a fucking box full of 45 plates. It had like 5 45-pound plates in it. I remember him picking it up and moving it, and it's like it's granted it's like it's a ton of weight. It's not like impossible, but it's still like
crazy.
It's still like crazy to just grab 45 times 5 or whatever it was, 6, and it's like that's like. Without 45, 225 plus whatever. It's like about 300 pounds ish, 275 pounds. To just be able to pick it up and just go, I'm just going to move it to the garage. It's like, I couldn't do that right now.
No, there's zero chance I could do that. I would hurt myself for sure.
Have you been seeing these run clubs, Austin run clubs?
Oh, dude, there's so many. There's one called Raw Dogs that's super popular.
Are those the ones that are hot guys running around?
It's the hottest.
It's pissing me off.
Dude,
I keep seeing these hot dudes running by my house. I go, put a shirt on.
So there's a
put
group
a shirt.
of
My
guys
girlfriend lives here. Put a shirt on.
There's a group of guys here. They're all like, they all also have like followers on Instagram, like a bunch of followers and stuff.
Of course, they're hot.
Every once in a while when I'm at Barton, I'll see them, and they're always standing. And I go, I know you guys want to get recognized. There's no other reason for you to be standing in the middle of all these people. Like, you can just see it. And I see it, and not because I'm like judging them, but because I go, I get it.
I get it.
I also want to get recognized. A lady took a picture with me. I was at ACL, and she was like, I think you're so funny. Can I please? I don't want to bother you. Can I take a picture with you? And I was like, shut up, dude. Yeah,
stop.
of course. Say it louder so people around
people
me
know.
Like I get the desire, but it is really funny because they are all just like hot guys.
Yeah, they're all hot guys. I don't like that.
And they're hot, dude.
They're hot.
They're really
I don't
hot.
like when I see hot guys because I go, stop it.
Cut it out,
Dude, put a shirt. I've had this thought. I go, you're gross.
You're
hot. If you're hot, you're gross. I don't like you. I think if you're a hot guy, you've done. I think if you're a hot guy, you do bad things. I say that as an ugly man.
I always joke, and I want to go on record and say I have nothing to substantiate this. But every once in a while, I'll see a group of really hot dudes, and I go, one of them has a sexual assault allegation. Like every time. That's what I think.
If I see hot dudes that are like hot and trendy, I think to myself, they're bad people.
Yeah, and it's not objective like that, obviously.
But here's the thing:
it's an easy
even if you aren't a bad person, to me you're a bad person.
Yeah.
Because if you're like a hot guy and you're a good guy, I go, well, you're a bad person because now you're everything that I can't be. Hot and a good guy. Fuck you, pussy.
Yeah.
I'm a warrior.
Yeah. Fuck you, pussy. You're hot, but are you a warrior?
Are you a warrior? When's the last time you watched
oats and doing burpees in your living room?
When's the last time you watched Shot Caller, huh? With John Bernthal.
That's so
That's
funny.
when I sent you that message of the guy with the tape around his arms, and he's like got the box cutter.
Is that what that's from?
That's from that. And I go, that's what we need to do.
That makes sense.
Because I watched that and I went, that's a cool scene. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I want to just start taking scenes that I like and just making them funny. But I also think that's stupid. Did you see the thing that Spencer did today? That was very funny. Spencer did the.
Fuck! I woke up. I forgot to respond to it. But yeah, he sent me the flyer he made.
Oh well, no, that one is also very funny.
That one's really funny.
Yeah, because he messaged me that too, and then.
He was like, wow, I didn't even know Josh
brutal.
was doing this. I didn't even see it. Yeah, tattoo. Dude, Spencer
put that on the camera.
Spencer is one of the most brilliant people that
hilarious.
I know.
He's very smart.
So he said I woke up to a message just at 10 this morning. Dude, did he tell you he was doing this? And it's Josh Francis comedy class. I want to show, I don't know if it'll focus, but there's a list of things and it says Josh Francis comedy class, 6 p.m. to 12 a.m., the 30th of October at Jester King Brewery. It says you'll learn stage presence, comedy theory, tag writing, crowd work, tattoo work, clipping, insult/roasting, and clips. It's so funny, dude.
And it's like done like it's borderline professional.
It's done like pretty well, dude.
It's like if you could plug in any comic to that photo and then just change the things and make it and hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah,
the tattoo
100%.
work made me go, fuck, dude.
Yeah, because you go, wait, what's fucked up about my tattoos? Well, it was like, who are we with? When we did Some of This Is Bad, they were saying something about me and my tattoos, and I was like, Josh has tattoos, and then Dillon was like, yeah, but, and I was like, don't be mean. Like, it's so easy with tattoos to be mean to somebody.
Well, it's you know what it is I don't care at this point. I don't like them. I won't.
Yeah.
I think they're cool. I don't care.
Remember when Jeff told me my tattoos were trashy?
That's crazy. Did he say that? I don't
on the
remember that.
podcast.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
you like defended me. You were like, that's crazy and like mean of you to say. And then he almost immediately started getting tattoos.
Yeah,
I
right.
was like, Okay, the fuck.
Well, tattoos can be gay to anybody if you could word any tattoo and go, that's stupid. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. There's some, because nothing is objective. This is the truth. When it comes to art,
nothing is objective.
so like you could see,
I 100% agree.
like I think tattoos where people have like somebody else's handwriting on them, all corny. I think that's true. I think
Yeah.
that, to me, that's true. I think that's a corny thing
I
to do.
know a girl who has like drawings that her kid
Yeah,
has made
I
her
think
on
that's-
her arm, and I understand that that's so meaningful. That's more meaningful to her than
Yes.
anything I have on my body.
Yeah.
But I don't think it looks good.
That's the same thought where I have where I go, yeah, people can go, yeah, but it's a fucking video game tattoo, and I go, yeah, but it done. I think it looks cool, and I think it's done well.
It's something that like means a lot to my life.
And it's not even the video game leans that much. I think it just looks cool. I like this is cool. I like that. That's my
dragon and
favorite part.
shit?
The
Yeah,
hand
dude.
ripping through.
Yeah.
That went into the thought process. This is embarrassing to admit. That went into the thought process of the ripped jeans conversation.
Really?
Because it had a rip right there.
Really? So you were like, if
And I went, it looks like it's ripping through the jeans. That's sick. I had one time
That
in
is-
Chicago when I first started comedy. A comic in Chicago said this to me one time. I had ripped jeans on like that too. And he went, did you get the tattoo because of the jeans or the jeans because of the tattoo?
did it
hurt.
kill you?
Brother, it destroyed me.
It destroyed you.
Yeah, dude, okay. Sometimes when I don't know a comic and they hit me with a good one, I will forever not like them.
Yeah, no, well,
Because
okay.
I went, you just destroyed me publicly.
There is this weird thing with comedy where we do kind of give each other shit, but every once in a while, somebody who you don't know steps into the ring too quick and hits you with a haymaker, and you go, I don't even know you like that. I didn't invite you into my ring.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
why are you here?
Or like somebody will be like,
Why are you wearing fucking
you'll be like,
jumpsuit pants?
you'd be like, tattoos, is that like your new addiction since you can't do heroin now? I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, sick. Thanks.
Cool. You
for
don't
that one.
I don't even know your last name.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
that you did that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a big one. I think that's probably one that I would assume you would get a lot. Is people think that they can make a joke about it, and then you're like, well, this is the thing I take serious.
Well, yeah, and people
You know
do
this
that
is
a
thing I take
lot.
I take this serious.
Yeah.
It's not like a.
I've like maintained like nearly a decade of sobriety because it's like a thing that means a lot to me, right?
Yeah, and then instead you're gonna do like,
you're addicted to this now? I'm like, okay.
you're like, yeah,
People do that even like outside of like comics trying to roast me. People will like genuinely be like, so what's like your new thing?
Is that offensive?
Yeah, kind of, because it's insinuating that rather than like drastically changing the way I live and behave and think and treat people and like view the world, that I just filled it in with something else.
Right, you've changed
like
what
the
vices or
amount
something.
of like just like self-destructive work I had to do to like change who I was and the way that I was,
Right.
and become a new person and live a life that feels good enough on a daily basis to not go back to the way I used to live, to have that all put to the side, and people go, you probably like love pussy now or something. Like it's probably just because you're a sex addict now, is like, no, like it's like just
Yeah,
like,
it belittles. It undermines everything.
It does 100%. It entirely, which is whatever. It's not. People don't understand, and that's okay. But yeah, it is. It is not. I will say I get why people don't understand.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so I had a moment. Sorry, we just had to fix something with the camera. This is why we go to a studio now, because the studio is way better.
Yeah.
And we don't have to pause because the lighting changes. Because we can't control lighting because we don't know how to, because we're just stupid comics. And Dude, I had a moment in the green room today this weekend where I freaked out. I had a full panic attack for no reason.
Really?
I ate the comic I was opening for is she likes weed. Like, that's a very big part of her thing. And I without thinking just grabbed, there was like a bunch of gummy bears sitting on a table, and I was just like, oh, nice. And I opened it and I ate it. I convinced myself.
Yeah.
I didn't even need to be high. I convinced myself I had just consumed I convinced myself I consumed like 500 milligrams of THC, and I just from there melted. I was like, I quadruple checked the packaging, And then I convinced myself that they didn't put it on the packaging because they had to sell it and they had to bring it into Texas and it's illegal in Texas. So they had to find a loophole. So maybe one of these. So I'm Googling ingredients, like every ingredient that was listed on the back, I'm Googling and going, like hydrochloroquine, whatever the fucking thing is, THC percentage makeup. Like I'm like looking up chemical makeups of every ingredient and I'm fact checking
so
everything.
funny.
And then I have to go on stage in front of everybody while I'm convinced I'm high and be like, hey, what's going on? Everybody make some noise, San Antonio.
Did it affect your set?
No, I don't think so, because when I started, it was fine. My set was fine. Like it didn't affect how I delivered anything. I didn't deliver anything bad or whatever. But the second I stepped off stage, immediate dry heaving again. I went, oh fuck, I'm gonna be fucking. I just convinced myself I was gonna be. I convinced myself that not only was I gonna be high, I was gonna be higher than I had ever been in my life. And at that point, it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
It didn't even matter what was gonna happen, because now I'm convinced myself I'm high, which is then causing me to have a huge panic attack because I don't do drugs, and because I've had bad experiences in the past, I then convinced myself that I was going to slip into psychosis because I ate these gummy bears, and I was just all. And then I asked one time. I asked her. I was like, "Those don't have any." I was like, "I ate some of those gummy bears. Those are like normal gummy bears, right?" And she was like, "Well, yeah." And then I was like, "But you didn't like? They're not like THC infused or anything." And she's like, "No." And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I walked back in like maybe 40 minutes later. I was like, I just wanted to double check. Like those are. I was like, I just want to make sure that.
She's like, no, weirdo, they're not.
Yeah.
The fuck?
And then I'm like, it's like the second night, so I'm like, she thinks I'm a freak.
Yeah. Dude, well, I told you. I told you about what happened when I was with Cam, right? So okay, so I will leave the guy's name out of this, but Cam has told the story. He told the story on Kill Tony on Monday after it happened on Sunday. So he's been talking about it. So I don't feel bad talking about it. But we were in OKC Sunday, and OKC's got a huge medical marijuana there is exploded. It's crazy. Everybody smokes weed. There's a million dispensaries, whatever. Cam doesn't really ever smoke, but Jolly and Cam's road manager do, like a lot. They smoke a ton. So these guys, like earlier that day, they went and they toured the dispensary, and then the guys from there came to the show. And they had like, those pelican cases that you keep going.
Yeah.
They had that full of shit. And at one, they got this little box. It was gifted, and they gave it to Cam, not really knowing that he doesn't really smoke like that. And it was a bottle of it looked like a cough syrup bottle. And they were like, you have to be really careful with this. It's weed syrup. It's THC syrup. A teaspoon of it has 50 milligrams. There's 2,500 milligrams in this entire bottle. And so it's insanely strong. Please be careful. So the night goes on, whatever. They're all smoking and shit. And then Jolly and the manager are like, let's pour up some of this syrup. And I'm like, be careful. I'm getting nervous for them. I see Jolly pour like a little bit. Jolly's smart. He knows how to handle this shit, whatever. The other guy pours so much in his drink. And I go, that's too much. And Jolly's going, what are you doing? Like, that's way too much. I was like, bro, what? That's a lot. He was like, man, he said something like, I'm a dog. Like I can, like I can handle it. And I was like, all right, man, whatever. So that was like during the middle of Cam's set. Jolly and this guy help sell merch. So I'm out there handing out stickers or whatever. And I watch him walk away, and he's like doing that. And I don't know what I thought. I thought maybe he was going to get sick. I was like, he drank too much, because they're also drinking. He drank quite a bit too. Jolly doesn't drink, but this guy was like pounding margs.
Off the margs and the THC.
Off the margs and the THC.
The THC syrup.
So I don't think anything of it. And when I get back in the green room, he is so high. He's like making faces, like can't communicate, like. He apparently, I don't know if this had to do with the food or the syrup or a combo, but it gave him like diarrhea.
Oh no.
And he was telling us about it. He was like, it just like boo boo. Like all of the sudden, Cam says this in his joke. It made him fucking retarded. Like for real, like he couldn't talk. He was like, I'm a boo boo myself, like whatever. And I'm dying laughing. Corey, Cam's photographer, is laughing. Jolly's laughing. We're like, you're an idiot, whatever. And then Jari, who's also there opening, hilarious comic, he's like, I don't like this. He's like, is he ever going to be the same? I was like, it's just weed. Like, he's going to be fine. But like, this is like, and then Cam walks in and he's like, looking at him and like doing all this weird stuff and like trying to talk. And Cam's like, "You're fucking with me." And he's like, "This is like a prank on me, right? Like you're pranking me." And I was like, he's gone, dude. Like he's fucked up.
Off the syrup.
And at one point he's like, "We all know that God is real." Like he's like doing like wild shit, bro. So like we're just sitting there like, and then like we're doing the worst thing we can do. We're surrounding him, laughing, like hysterically laughing at him. And what I realized had happened because I saw his drink, and he didn't drink the whole thing. The syrup all went to the bottom, and he was drinking out of a straw. So he drank like all of it. And so
nothing but
he's
that is
all
crazy.
And then at one point, like was like helping him walk, and then he does that thing again, and he starts throwing up. And so they take him to the bathroom. He's like throwing up, whatever. He's in the bathroom for a while, and then I leave. I'm like, I'm gonna get out of here. So I go, and there's this guy who was sitting out back waiting for Cam. So I call Cam to let him know. I'm like, yo, this dude, because he was being kind of weird during the show. He DM'd everybody like, hey, if Cam wants to drive my new Tesla, he can. He like lingered after the show. He was sitting out back waiting for Cam.
Really wanted the Tesla whip.
Like really was like, so I called Cam to let him know. He was like, bro, we lost a man. No, he was like, we just went in the bathroom and he had like taken his clothes off and like thrown up on himself and like shit himself. That's how high he got, is that he shit himself. And then later on, when they were getting him to the car, he like pissed himself. Like he was so high that he just like he was not a human.
There is a level of fucked up that people can reach. I've seen it before too, where they get so fucked up they resort to like primal, like get naked, lay down.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yes,
I've seen it. I've seen it. We had a guy in. We had a guy.
It was crazy.
Yeah, we had a guy one time when I was in the Marines get too drunk, and he ended up shitting. He went to a shower, got butt naked, and then just proceeded to shit and piss in the shower face down. Like there's just shit. He was face down and poop was coming. He was face down in the shower, laying down. Poop was just coming out of his butt, and we were all like, we have to do, like, we were like, we have to do something.
We have to help our brother.
Yeah, we have to.
We have to have his back.
We start Fireman carrying him for no reason in the shower. No, dude, we were just watching the guy. We just watched him just pooping. Because I think sometimes when you get too fucked up, that's what your body, it's like your body's like reset button.
Well,
it's like shit and piss everything out. Throw up everything, shit out everything.
Who is it? I think it might be Nick Swardson talks about how taking care of a drunk person's like taking care of a baby.
Yeah.
It's like you really do when you get so fucked up. You can't really walk.
Yeah.
You can't really talk. You will shit and piss yourself.
Dude,
you literally are a baby.
Yeah, you just go back to a fucking point where you're just like, I'm just going to go lay down, turn the shower on, shit and piss all over the Yeah, brutal.
I remember one of the kids on my basketball team in high school went to visit a college that he was getting recruited to, and they took him out to party, and he got so drunk that in the middle of the night, he woke up, he went over to a chair, he shit on the chair, and then he turned around and pissed on the shit. Because like there's a weird in between where your body still knows what you do. That's what he does when he normally poops. Yeah. He doesn't poop and then pee into the toilet. He poops and then stands up and turns around and pees. We all used to make fun of him for it, so we knew that.
Why? What are you doing that?
And he did that when
Why
he was
are you doing
drunk.
that though?
One time I woke up and I pissed in the corner of a room, and I pissed in the corner of the room, and it leaked. Dude, this is crazy. It leaked through the ceiling, and it was dripping onto the parents' room was below, and it was dripping onto their fan and like spinning like piss all over the room because the dad came up and found me. It was crazy. Yeah, about that.
Is your piss on my? You
Are you pissing?
You want to explain to me why my wife has came 4 times in the past? You want to come over? You come to my house and piss into my floor, not directly onto her.
Yeah, dude, it was.
You want to talk about?
But I don't know what happens. But like, yeah, you do turn into a baby.
There's something in you that just goes, I need to get evacuate. It's a fire drill.
It's like
for
a
your
reset.
butthole.
You're right. Where it's just like, let's get all this out.
One time, I had a friend who. This is just absurd too. I wonder if I still have the photo. I probably do somewhere. My dad and I took my friend out. my friend Alex came over to my house. I had just gotten out of the military. We were just like seeing each other for the first time in like 4 years. And dude, at this point, he had a kid. He had like, he was working like a good job. Like he was like in a professional, like he was an adult versus like I was still like 22, I have no job, just got out of the military, don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm like, we're gonna get fucked up like we used to when we were like 16. So I'm like doing shot after shot. He hasn't drank in fucking, I think he hasn't drank in like, I don't know, probably 2-3 years at this point. And so like, or like at least not like he used to. And so me and him do like, we take like something like 7 or 8 shots within like the first like 30 minutes. And like at that point, like I was kind of drinking a lot back then. So I was like feeling it pretty, 7-8 shots is going to fuck you up no matter what. But like, it was like not one of those things where I'm like, this is wild. But he was like, this is crazy. We walked to this bar that's like kitty corner from like my parents. There's like a block and then a string of like strip mall, and at the end of the strip mall there's like a little shitty dive bar.
Yeah.
And so we go there, and my buddy, after like 7-8 shots, he's just fully wrecked, and he just locks himself in the women's bathroom, and he just locks himself in there. And there's like 30 people who all go to the same bar every night, and it's small town Iowa. People know everybody.
Yeah.
And we're like trying to get him to unlock because this girl needs to use the restroom. And for whatever reason, he locked himself into that bathroom. And so now there's like the entire bar is gathered around trying to get this door open. And they finally open the door, and my buddy is butt naked on the toilet, hunched over. There's the biggest turd I've ever seen in the toilet. And he like looks up, and it's like half of the people I went to high school with. And we're all just like, I guess he's right there.
Yeah. Oh, we found him.
Yeah. And then he just had to go back to going and being in charge of people like 2 days later. Yeah. That's what's always funny is you see people out on like a Wednesday night, or not a Wednesday. You see somebody on like a Saturday night, and they're at a bar, they're at a club, and they're fucking they're hammered. They're doing the thing, arms around people. You're my best friend. Blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, they're just like at their desk job in charge of people, being like, "Hey, would you want? Get those
dude,
reports?"
Like I know this girl in Florida, and she teaches like 5-year-olds, and she like is like a rave girl who like does coke and ketamine and like parties on the weekends, and then goes to and teaches the youth.
I'm not trying to yuck people's yum. If you are that type of person, I don't want you on show. I don't want you around children. I'm sure you're fine.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is,
I'm
like,
sure you're fine.
I know her, and it's like not like on paper those facts are crazy, but like she's good at it, and she's not like people.
There's something about rave people drive me fucking nuts.
So I used to be a hater about rave people.
Lame. It's corny. It's gay.
I don't totally disagree, but I was at ACL Sunday, and I went. There's this artist Dom Dalla who's like it's like a house music EDM kind of kind of shit. And I was watching a set and like just kind of vibing, and I was like, I get it.
Yeah,
especially if I was on coke or ketamine or Molly, I get why this would be fun.
I'm not saying it probably. I don't think it's not fun. I'm sure it would be a blast.
I get what you're saying.
I also just think the culture is like, people love everybody.
Plur.
Everybody, they do the little fucking bracelet exchange. You're gonna get herpes.
Yeah.
Hey, you got herpes.
If
you go to those things, you have herpes.
You're having sex in a tent.
You're having sex in a tent
with a guy who has nitrous.
Yeah. You have herpes.
You have herpes now.
You have herpes now. And guess what?
I hate to tell you.
And then guess what happens? The next time you go back, you're the person who's now having sex with a man in a tent who they don't have herpes, but you have herpes, and now he has herpes. I say this as somebody who got cheated on at Electric Forest.
That's where this all comes from.
I say this because
we get to the root of
the girl that I
issue.
dated when I was in the military went to Electric Forest, and boy, did I hear some stories. My buddy calls me and goes, "Hey, he goes, hey, dude, I thought that I just want to make sure that you're still dating so and so," and I was like, "Yeah," and then he was like, "Oh yeah, no, she was just getting fingered in publicly."
That hurts.
She was dancing. She was dancing, getting fingered publicly. She was very publicly in the middle of nowhere at Electric Forest getting fingered, and I was like, "Yeah, that's sick." And then I went on a rampage on Twitter. I was like,
you fired up.
Brother, I was fired. So here's what pissed me off. This was
awesome.
There was a while there. There was a while in I don't want to say that. I don't know what the word would be. There was a group of people who I used to be friends with who I no longer was being friends with because of said incident, and they were like a group that would always go to they would go to those EDM concerts, whatever. And after that girl and I found out all that stuff happened. I broke up with her, and then in a very toxic way too. I waited until I went home for Christmas leave because it happened like a month or something before I went home, and I just kept it normal, and then just like at a party like left her, like we drove, and then she'd like walk home at 2 a.m. and I was like driving next to her like yelling at her. I was like a piece of shit.
How old are you?
Like 19.
Okay, that's
19, 18, drunk driving, being like, you fucking ruined my life, bitch. Like being like a toxic person. I'll be a toxic person.
Yeah.
I might cut that part out. But anyways, so we
you were young.
Yeah.
Man.
So we but anyways, so we drove. Sorry, what was I saying about that? Oh, the breakup thing. So no, so we had so there's a while after we broke up that like that group of people that were like the fucking dreadheads, whatever, we were beefing very publicly on Twitter. And
wow.
I was grilling them. I was hitting them.
That's so funny.
One of them posted a video. I had just posted a video of me inside of a turret doing target practice. So I had like a camera right here, like GoPro, and then I was with a 50 cal, like and I was showing me shooting, and then I flipped it through the sights so you could see what was happening. I was doing target practice, and I thought it was a cool video. I still think it's a cool video because it's just like, oh, this is cool that I'm shooting a 50 cal right now, and. One of the guys that she like hooked up with made a video of him. That one of the guy that she hooked up with made a video of him going holding like holding nothing, grilling me. He got me a little bit. Then I saved the video and then I posted it and I tagged him directly and I went, "You're making fun of me for serving my country. I'm gonna make fun of you for serving me my fries at Wendy's in like 4 years." That got a bunch. Then he clapped back with, "Oh no, is the big tough guy gonna beat me up?" And then he was like, "Good luck finding me. I'm not at your girl's house tonight. She's with me." And then like he got me, which was good. So yeah, I'm at her house. And
Fuck,
then,
that hurts.
And
that
then
hurts.
Yeah, that one hurt. And then I just what I did is I waited, and then I didn't say anything for like 2 weeks because I knew I was coming home too. And then I went home, and then again, and he was working at a drive-thru. And I took a photo of him at the drive-thru, and I posted it, and I was like, so,
yes.
And then everybody was like, ah,
that's so funny.
Everybody
bro.
thought he won the battle. I won the war.
Yeah. Sometimes the victor.
I went,
I just have to wait.
And then I went, yeah. It was a Subway, and he was handing me a bag through the Subway window.
And you took a picture of it.
I took a photo. I went.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah,
dude. That's so good.
Yeah.
Because you think it's like, oh well, I fucked your bitch. It's like, yeah, but if she did that with you, she'll do it to you. So you're not really winning. Also, you work at Subway.
I don't get it. I never have gotten this. If you break up with somebody, to get with somebody else, or sorry, if somebody's dating somebody and they're talking to you and then they break up with that person to be with you. They're going to do it to you.
Yeah.
It's happened every time I've tried to do that in a relationship. Every time that a person's been like, I've had people, because I try to respect the relationship. I'm not like one of those people. But if they're like, I'm about to break up with him, and then they start texting me, I'll be like, oh, how are you? I would never like try to be on it. But I've been in the thing where they've been telling me they're about to break up, and then I start texting, and then they break up, and then it's like, well, she was probably not going to break up either way. Because even if they are going to break up either way, still, if she's a respectful person, she'd probably wait.
Yeah, I agree. I understand the mindset of being like, well, I'm already done with this person emotionally. Right. I'm ready to start moving on. But it's like, well, then just do it. Yeah.
You can't just hold on. Because it's that joke that girls break up with somebody months before they break up with them.
Yeah.
And then
it's true.
And then men are just emotionless until it happens, and then they're like, "But I loved you," and it's like, "Well, you haven't
stupid.
I shouldn't have fucked her.
Yeah,
stupid. I barely put my pee in.
It was just the tip. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know.
I've never been in like an online beef like that. Really, that's sick, dude. I love that. I wish I just don't have. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just such a viewer of drama. I love watching, like, I'd love a Facebook thread. I love like that. But even when I was young, I never really got into like.
Do you remember like middle school fights? That's when it all started. When people were like, meet me in the bathroom. and then you just
We
watch
didn't really
fights.
do that at
You
my
guys didn't
school.
fight and stuff like that?
Oh, really?
That was like so
You
popular.
would like get kicked. You like for real get kicked out.
Oh,
of
they
school
would do.
if
I mean, you
fought.
would same here, but it was a public school, so people like didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It was sort of like, oh, you're gonna send me to Roosevelt, I guess, and I'm at John Adams. You're gonna send me to Roosevelt, and then people at Roosevelt, it's sort of like you go there, and now you're a warrior mindset.
You're a warrior.
You're
We're
a warrior.
back to it.
They went. You got kicked out of. You got kicked
For
out of jail for
fighting?
fighting, and then everybody was afraid. We had a kid. There was a kid I was afraid of, deathly afraid of, because we used to go. There's a thing called Band Fest in Mason City, and every year at on Labor Day. No, what's the one in May? Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Memorial Day. They would have like a circus, not a circus, a carnival, like a county fair thing happens, and for no reason when we were like 12 to like 15, 16, that was just like the battleground. Like you would just walk around and they would be like, dude, like Tony Kirk wants to fight you. And you'd be like, what?
Why?
And then they'd be like, I don't know, but he's at the bridge right now. And if you don't show up, everybody's going to think you're a pussy. So then you would just go and fight. I never fought Tony Kirk because Tony Kirk was fighting a lot of people. And he fought a lot of people. A lot of people fought a lot of people. But it was just people going and just fighting each other. Like it would be like, they would literally just be like, "Hey, Kashawn doesn't like you. He wants to fight you." And then you're getting called out in front of.
It's like
all of these names are real. Kashawn used to beat the shit out of people. Bryce used to beat the shit out of people. My friend Jack was always fighting people. My friend Jonathan used to fight people, and it would always be like you would save it until Bandfest, and then all of a sudden you'd find out that there's
Bandfest is the funniest.
Yeah,
time,
and you'd find out people had problems with you, and all of a sudden,
that's the worst part. Forget having to fight. Just being like, Sean doesn't like me?
Yeah, dude. And then it's like
I
they
thought
were
we were
cool.
We have math class together. What the fuck?
My buddy, remember Andre, my buddy that we met in Tempe, the Asian guy that came out?
Yeah.
He was like, dude, he's a tough dude.
I believe it. He had psycho energy.
Dude,
in all the best ways.
Yeah, he would just like, he would fight people. Him and me were like pretty good friends where I was like, I knew he would always have my back. And it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm glad that he has my back. And then he's friends with all these other guys who would have my back. And then I personally never got into that much altercation. I got punched one time in the face. I caught a stray when I was walking to a fight. I got hit in the face, and then somebody went, "Oh, my bad. I thought you were so and so." And I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And then at that point, I was like, "Well, I have to not." I was like, "I don't want to fight you, but I just got hit in the face,
Yeah,
and I didn't know what to do."
face, yeah.
And so then I pushed him, and then that was it.
I've never been in a fight. Not like that. Never been in a fight.
As an adult, I haven't been in many. I had a lot growing up, but not a.
I do think that people who get in fights as adults I think it's stupid.
Yeah, it's trashy.
Yeah, it's trashy.
It's the
a
trashiest
woman
thing.
who fights, gross.
Oh,
the
yeah.
grossest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Watching a woman scrap
Yeah.
does nothing for me.
No.
It's like it's so gross.
Even like I also think men. Do you see the video of the guy who? Well, I have two thoughts, but did you see the video of the guy who pushed the wrestling referee because his son did an illegal move, and the referee was a lawyer? And
No.
Yeah, it turns out the referee was a lawyer. The guy's getting sued to fucking oblivion and getting
Amazing.
charges pressed on him and everything.
Awesome.
But that's the type of dude who fights. If you're fighting as an adult, it's because like as a young child, I feel like it's one of two things. Either you're hyper masculine to the point where like you've always been that way, you've always been an asshole, people don't like you, or it's the opposite, which was you were never that way, and then maybe as you got older, you kind of came into who you are, and now you have confidence, this newly found like I'm the fucking man, and now I have to show it somehow. And so you're 32 and you punch a 22-year-old kid at a fucking dive bar because you're like, I'm tough, and it's like you're not tough, you just beat up a child.
Yeah. Dude, I saw 2 fights at ACL on Sunday. One of them was at the Mexican OT concert. It was like 17-year-old white kids scrapping. Like it was sick.
Throwing them down.
Dude, I loved it.
Yeah.
It was awesome to watch. The second one, dude, I watched a guy get clocked by another young white guy, not 17, probably in his 20s. Clocked this dude. And then I saw the scuffle happen. I saw the punch get thrown, knocked the guy like down, kind of out a little bit, got up blood coming all over his face. And then the guy was like, he stole my fucking phone. And he was like, I didn't take your phone. He's like walking away. Somebody was holding the guy who punched him back. And he was like, no, let me go. He has my phone. And that guy's friend was following the guy who had the blood all over his face, who stole the phone. And then the guy got like just far enough away and he started sprinting. And then the other 2 dudes took off after him. I was like, oh, that guy definitely took your phone. Yeah. And then I found out the group I was with, 2 people the day before in a group of like 5 people had their phones stolen. So it was like, oh yeah, there's obviously just people walking around pickpocketing people.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, I wanted so bad to just follow those people. I wanted to see what happened so fucking bad.
Do you remember when we were in Alabama and I was like, there was those bouncers at the little piece of Texas bar in Alabama?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that? When there was those bouncers that were like, dude, those bouncers were like 240-pound built like brick shit houses, and they were just running around just fucking people up in the I was just drunk watching the bouncers fight people.
If you scuffled at all, those bouncers were coming in and fucking
they were
you
like
up.
It was escalation of force times like 40. It was like it was escalation of force the like of which I've never seen. It was literally like a guy would be like lippy to a bartender, and then a 7'1" jacked hillbilly would just
the fuck. What did you say? Yeah, it was crazy.
The most memorable tussle that I think I had. I'm trying to think of all the tussles that I've been in. The last one that I think was noteworthy as far as fights go that I want to publicly talk about, where things didn't go array and things didn't that I'm still worried about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one was bad. But the one I'm trying to think of the most recent one my one friend. Okay, so there's a kid. This one's fun. Shout out to Brandon Peterson. He was a
shout out to Brandon.
He was a boxer. He grew up. He was into boxing, and he was like the only person in my high school who was like into boxing was this Brandon guy.
Yeah,
and I don't know, just being a little dick.
Well, back then there was only the one guy.
Yeah, and
who
also
did like karate or did boxing.
There's
or
one
did
Curtis
whatever.
Snell was nasty at taekwondo in my high school too.
Yeah, there's never like now. I bet there's a bunch of 17-year-olds in high school who are like doing like BJJ and shit.
Yeah,
like that.
it wasn't popular,
but like it wasn't it.
But by this guy Brandon, my friend, now we're friends. Or acquaintances. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like me. I don't know. But anyways,
he might fight you.
He might fight me again. But he was in boxing, and then I would always make fun of him for being in boxing. But like publicly, like I actually
smart thing to do.
Yeah, I actually thought it was very funny because like I would call him out for flexing. I would just be like, "Oh, Brandon's fighting," and all of a sudden thinks he's a fucking badass. Now he thinks he can flex everywhere. So he was like blowing his nose one day in Spanish class, and he was just blowing his nose normally. And I like very loudly, I was like, "Look at him flexing! Everybody, look at that! It's embarrassing." And then people like kind of laughed at the fact that I said that. And then he was like, from there on, he was like, "It's on site." And like, dude, the bits were going too far to the point where I was like fucking with him still at lunch. I walked over to his table and I was like, damn, dude, like, I was like walking past with like all of my football friends and I was walking by his table and I said something like, damn, dude, your arms are, I'm sure that shirt's got about to rip with you flexing like that. And it bothered him. Me saying he was flexing bothered him to the point that after school, I was like waiting to go to baseball practice. I was waiting for a ride because we practiced somewhere else and they didn't have a bus. So we'd have to like we'd have to commute there publicly or independently. And I was waiting for my dad to come and pick me up. Brandon just fucking swung and just beat the shit out of me.
No. That's awesome. Did he blindside you? He just came up and just fucked you up.
He threw it. In his defense, I deserved it, but he did.
Yeah, you were being a dick.
He took his glasses off. I was there. I was standing. He took his glasses off. He was sitting on a bench, took his glasses off, handed it to somebody, stood up, and like turned to walk away, and then he just turned around and just fucking clocked.
Damn.
Jimmy Collins had my back. Jimmy said I won that fight. I don't know if I won that fight. I'm not going to go on public saying I'm a tough guy because I fought this guy. Jimmy Collins said I won that fight. Javen Swan said I won that fight. There was only 3. There was 3 witnesses.
Well, you won.
But he did punch me in the face a bunch, and he was a boxer, and it hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure that fucking hurt. We used to have fight nights.
Yeah, dude. That's
I forgot about
that.
You
have to do that as a kid.
Dude, at Luke Baldwin, this guy Luke lived. It was in the city, but he had this weird plot of land. Some of them were gloves, some of them were not. And we would like orchestrate and like it would be like a big party. And we'd have cars around with their headlights on and people would get in. We had these twins who, some of them might actually listen to this, but.
Shout out, say name drop.
William and Michael Jewell.
Oh, I've heard about them.
Yeah.
I know
that's the dad who I pissed on. Their dad. It was their dad because I used to get fucked up and stay at their house a lot. And dude, those boys can put away bruise. I don't know if they do anymore, but they used to be able to, like, William used to be able to take like 30 down when we were like 17.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
When you're like that, when you're like young, it's like
It was crazy.
those are the dudes. And
But
I'm
they're
not,
doing well. They're both doing really well.
I'm not
now.
gonna. Yeah, I'm sure that this might not be the same, but it's the same people who then were like, "How do you do it? Like, how do you just stop drinking completely?"
Yeah.
Like those are the guys, dudes who are like units who will like be
Yeah.
like, "You still drinking?" I'm like, "Not really." They're like, how do you stop?
How do you not do it?
Yeah.
No, but dude, I remember both of them fighting, and William just beat the fucking shit out of his twin. They're twins, twin brother.
Just watching somebody beat the shit out of themselves.
But Michael's so funny, and he was always like talking shitty. Like he would just get like take one and like it would wobble, and he'd be like, "Is there a fly flying around here hitting me in the head?" It's just like getting teed off on. It was crazy, bro.
That's the fun.
It was crazy.
Well, there's a level of it's the whole thing where it's like you can still win if you lose. If you're shit talking, you just go. You get your ass beat, and you go. I'm not even like a fight. I'm just like the funny kid in class.
Yeah, and like we would never fight. We would never fight till like somebody got KO'd.
No.
You know, we would just fight, and then we'd be like, obviously, Tyler Winkler won. Or
Yeah,
whoever,
then the
know what I
rumor
mean?
spread though.
Oh yeah,
People go, dude, Tyler beat the.
Eventually, it spread too much though, because the school was like, if we find out anything like this has happened again, everybody who attended will be expelled from school. And it was like everybody was there.
You're gonna get rid of the whole
because
football
like there
team?
were like cool kids and then like not cool kids, and I was somewhere in the middle. And Luke was also somewhere in the middle. So it wasn't like one of those parties, because there were parties at like Cooper Black's house where it was like, can I come? And it was like, I just don't know. We can't have that many people, like that kind
dude,
of
shout
shit.
out Cooper.
Fuck Cooper, dude.
Yeah, dude. No,
I'm
what's
sure,
he doing?
I'm sure Cooper's good.
No, I don't think so. Fuck you, Cooper. I'll say it publicly because I know exactly who Cooper is. Piece of shit. Probably he's rich now.
He was rich back then.
Yeah,
so I'm
he's
sure
still rich.
He's still rich
Fucking
now.
rat.
But yeah, and I remember like, but this was not. I'm gonna look him up, see if he follows me. But I remember
follow him and then unfollow him just because I don't like him.
He doesn't follow me, but there's a picture of him with his kid, which is great. I'm glad you're doing well, Cooper.
I'm not.
And
just kidding. I like you, Cooper.
So, but it was like perfect.
Buy my merch.
It was perfect because it was the middle ground where like everybody could be there.
Do you remember? That's what I think started Fusion. I think the way to diffuse the class system in high school, where it's like cool kids, losers. Like if it's like the cool kids, the like the loser kind of quiet kids. Then there's like everything in between. Whatever. Like people who don't whatever. The fusion of class systems in high school, from cool kid to like people who don't really go out much, is weed. When everybody starts smoking weed, you start hanging out with.
Yep.
I remember smoking weed. I played sports and stuff when I started smoking. I was like, and it was like me and a bunch of people who played baseball would go over to the skate park with kids who never played sports, and then we'd sit there and we'd start smoking, and it's like it was like very much like it was like finding common ground and being like, you're not so bad after all.
Yeah. Well, it really does. Well,
you go, wow, this Reggie's great.
Well, I remember because I was always kind of a drug kid in high school, obviously. And I remember like my freshman year of college, I started selling weed. And then all the kids who used to like look down at me for like smoking and shit started buying weed from me.
Dude.
And I remember just being like, fuck you, Camden.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Dude,
or like
fuck
whatever.
you,
It's like, you don't even know. You got a 0.8 for $20.
Yeah, dude.
Idiot. You know?
That also happens. I remember when football ended, people were like, okay, I'm not going to go to college. I'm not good enough to play at the college level. Mm-hmm. So now I'll start partying and stuff.
Yeah.
And that always happened. Yep. And then it was like those kids are the ones now drinking. And they're also the ones that like can't handle themselves. It's like, it's that thing where it's like, I like burned myself out. Like, I think this is a common experience if you did drugs in high school. It's like by the time you're like in your late 20s, early 30s, you're like, I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. Cause it's like, I did that when I was 15. I outgrew it.
Yeah, bro. Like I had my days.
Yeah. But now I think the opposite happens now though. I think the people who haven't done that when they were younger
absolutely
are the ones that like crash out hard and are like getting DUIs when they're fucking 25 and getting another one to 26.
Absolutely, dude.
It's like, dude, the key is to get in trouble and do all that stuff when you're 15.
And you can't really get in trouble. Yeah.
It's like,
but when you're 23 and you get a DUI, you get a DUI.
Yeah. When you're 16, it goes away when you're 18.
Yeah. Like you got
I got caught drinking underage so many times. And as an adult, I've never drove drunk as an adult. I've never had a public intox as an adult. I've never even been like, I've never put myself in a bad situation as an adult. When I was
We're going to get Josh a public intox this weekend.
Yeah. When I was 16 though, I was like doing, when I was 16, I was like, I mean, I drove home drunk. My dad beat the shit out of me, but it was like when I was 16, I drove home drunk and was drunk at Walmart, going around stealing shit belligerently. And it's like, because I knew that I was fine.
The first first night I had my license and I had a car, I drove drunk.
Yeah.
The first night.
That's what you need to do.
The first night I had 3 Keystone Tall Boys to myself.
Hammered.
Fucking lit. I met Brennan Blagg at McDonald's. We crushed some brews and then we left. That was it.
Yeah.
And then I drove home. All right.
Well, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for listening to the Friendly
Podcast.
Fire Podcast. New episode every Thursday. Bye.
Make sure you like and subscribe. I actually want it.